Hi, I'm Bonnie, and today I'll be talking about the month and year which I was born. And I was born July of 1964. Now, the day that I was born on the 21st. It was a very joyous occasion, I heard. I don't really remember, obviously. And my dad's, my father's brother was diagnosed with leukemia a couple months before they discovered that they were going to have me. So my dad had to work a lot, and my uncle decided that he would take my mom and me, to the hospital and doctor's office visits while he worked, so he could save money and prepare for me. Well, I was born on the 21st, and he was very, very sick at that time, and he didn't really know what he had. They didn't want to tell him, so back then, they kept things, to low key. So I came home 7 days later, because obviously back then they didn't come home the same day that you have a baby, like they do nowadays. 7 days after I was born, he came. They brought me to him. He seen me, and that evening he passed away from leukemia. On that sad note, I'm going to touch on a few bases of what happened in that month and year that I was born. And a few of these things were on July 2nd, President Johnson, he was the 36th president. He gained presidency after President Kennedy was assassinated in 1963. Johnson was our 36th president. He signed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act into law on the 2nd of July. And then also, too, he signed a bill enacting Medicare at that same time. And a couple other things that were interesting that I found was on July 6th, the Beatles film Hard Day's Night premiered in London. It was a comedy, it was black and white, and it featured the Beatles. And I thought that was pretty interesting. The Beach Boys on the 4th of July came out with I Get Around, reached #1 and stayed #1 for a couple weeks. And also, I forgot to add that on the Beatles, they premiered their album, the Hard Day's Night album, that came #1 on the 25th of July, and that stayed #1 for 14 weeks. So that's a pretty long time for a song. Okay, there were many race riots in New York and Harlem and Rochester during the month of July of 1964. Also, I thought that I found was really interesting was on the 17th of July, Great Britain performed a nuclear test at the Nevada site. So that's interesting that Great Britain would test on our grounds. That just, floored me away there. Mildred Simpson, on my birthday, ran, she's a female, world record on the first marathon that she ran. Barry M. Goldwater was nominated for president by the Republicans on the 15th. And a few other extra things. On the 31st, the U.S. Ranger 7 took over 4,000 pictures before it crashed on the moon, and 4,300 of those pictures were viewed on TV. A few other interesting things that I thought were cool were prices of certain items around that time of the year. Like gas, 25 cents. Wow. Big difference from today. We're at $3.20, $3.30, and 25 cents? That's a big difference. Gallon of milk was like 95 cents. Now it's $3, $4, $5 a gallon, depending on where we live. A loaf of bread was 21 cents. A dozen eggs were 54 cents. A common new home, cost of a new home, was only $20,500. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Also, the first class stamp was only 5 cents. And a payphone, which a lot of us, or a lot of you that are younger, was 10 cents. If you know what a payphone was, it was those little phones on corners that you could go up and dial. You know, I think there still might be a few around, but I haven't seen any very much. So, a couple other things. Famous births in July 9th, Courtney Love was born. On July 26th, Sandra Bullock was born. She was in a few. She's had quite a few good movies. I never knew that she was born in July until I started researching. Another interesting fact that I found was Jim Reeves died in a plane crash in July of 1964. Also, Arnold Palmer won his 4th Master in July of 1964. I hope you enjoyed my video. And if there's anything, just let me know. Have a great day. Enjoy to see yours. Bye.